What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Spain Pro, as we got physical updates from all the potential top guys that are going to be battling for the top spot here. So let's start with the conqueror Vam Bonac, who looks really ready around 4 weeks out of the show. And I have to say Vam Bonac is the real wildcard here, because we do not know which version of him is going to show up here, because the last 2 times he was on the stage, the Olympia 2022 and the Empro Classic 2023, he got some of the worst placings of his career. I mean, he even lost to a guy like Akeem Williams at the Empro Classic in 2023. And yes, I know Vam Bonac has now a new coach, and he is really positive about the look that these guys are bringing to the stage. But the age factor of Vam Bonac can no longer be ignored. So Bonac never really had the smallest waist out there. But here is the thing, especially in the last couple of years, we have got so many amazing competitors, with great aesthetics, great V-taper, some of the smallest waists out there, and all that with great amount of size as well. I mean, even at his last Mr. Olympia, when he stood next to Derek Lunsford, the first shot, the front relaxed, that exposed the hell out of Vam Bonac because of his waist. So it is so hard to predict whether Vam Bonac is gonna win this show, whether he is even gonna be in the top 2. And the reason I'm saying that is because the lineup here at Empro Classic Spain, that is gonna have some crazy physiques out there. And almost all of the top guys are gonna have better flow than Vam Bonac. So can he bring back that 2019 Arnold Classic look, where he was really round and really 3D, and he looked really cartoonish at that show? So if he can bring something like that, I'm gonna go as far as saying that he is gonna win this show, and quite comfortably. But the odds of that happening, they are not looking that good. Next up, we have the physique update of the winning champion here at Empro Classic Spain, Michal Krizo, who I believe is still the favorite to win this show. I mean, the guy is top 7 in the world. So Krizo has got the height, he has got the size, he has got the width, plus he has got the freak factor. And we have seen in his last couple of shows that he has found the right formula to bring that next level of conditioning as well. And unlike some of the other tall guys, Krizo has super thin skin, which allows him to display a lot of detail that some of these other competitors just cannot. And now he knows what needs to be done in order to get shredded and peeled out of his mind. Now, if you guys ask me, I don't want to see Michal Krizo's Olympia look here, although he was rewarded 7th place by the judges at that show. But I think the look that he brought at Pro, that was just a couple of weeks after the Olympia. That was arguably one of the best looks of his career so far. He placed just behind Samson Dauda at that show. And that was a lot more impressive, because unlike the Olympia where he was really conditioned, but he kinda lost his wow factor, but at Prague, with that conditioning he had his freak factor as well. Now as of right now, we do not know whether Krizo has a backup plan here in case he doesn't win this show. So the show in Italy is scheduled just 1 week after Spain, but there will be another fierce competitor at that show, and that is Nathan D'Asia. Although Krizo was able to beat Nathan at Prague last year. But I think most of us can agree that Nathan that we saw at Prague, that wasn't the best of him. And now with a great offseason under his belt, I think this is going to be a much improved version of Nathan D'Asia. And I have to say, so far Krizo has done extremely well at both the Olympias that he did. He went from 12th in 2022 to 7th in 2023. But this year is truly going to decide how high can Krizo really place at the Olympia level. Next up, we have the physique update of one of the best from Iran, Behrouz Tabani. So one thing is absolutely certain when it comes to Behrouz Tabani, that even though he won't be the biggest guy on that stage, but in terms of conditioning, it will be extremely hard to beat Behrouz Tabani. And not only just in this show, but in any show that he enters. I mean, the guy matches Hadi Chopin in the conditioning department. Even back in 2021, when Behrouz Tabani first came onto the bodybuilding scene and made his debut, even though he had weak legs, even though he needed a lot of mass at that time, but his conditioning even back then was some of the best out there. I mean, his conditioning was better than both Rafael Brandao and Samson Dauda. But now that he has had 2 off-seasons under his belt, he has been able to put on a lot of mass, a lot of density. And the great thing about this progress is that his waist has stayed exactly the same, super small. While on the other hand, his quads have come up, his lats have become wider. And Behrouz really proved it to everyone when he got a chance to stand next to Samson Dauda at Romania Pro last year, that he is the real deal, that he belongs on that Olympia stage. And just like Hadi Chopin, Behrouz has a champion mentality. And in every show that he enters, he has a firm belief that he's gonna win that one. So we all got to see a showdown between Michal Krizo and Behrouz Tabani just a few weeks ago at FIBA Germany. So are you guys ready for the first ever stage battle? Because this is gonna be a good one. So who in your opinion is gonna come out on top? Baros Tabani or Michal Krizo? Next up is the update of Andrea Presti, who was the runner-up at Empro Classic Spain last year against Michal Krizo, and he actually pushed Michal Krizo extremely hard in some of the shots. So I have said this so many times, if Presti had legs as impressive as his upper half, he could have beaten Michal Krizo in that show. But even with the improvements that Presti has made over the years, his legs are still way behind in comparison to his upper body. And it is gonna be really hard for Presti to stand out in a show like this. I mean, we just saw at Romania Pro last year that he wasn't even able to place top 5 in that kind of lineup. He got beat by Nathan Diasha, Harsamdi, Mohammad Fadal, and that was kind of a bad look for a guy who has been on the Olympia stage 3 times. So Presti loves to do Portugal Pro. He has won that show 3 times in the last 2 years. And he has that unique record of winning that show 3 consecutive times. But the thing is, this year, he's gonna face Vam Bonac at that show. So unless Presti has been able to make some great improvements in his legs, his chances of qualifying for the Olympia this year, they are looking kinda slim. Unless he picks this show very strategically. But do let me know what you guys think. So vacation time is finally over for Samson Dauda, as the grind for the off-season starts now. We have 20 or 21 weeks left till this year's Mr. Olympia, and Samson is gonna push really hard for the next 10 weeks in order to make some significant improvements before the prep officially starts. So it is crystal clear now that for Samson to be Mr. Olympia, the judges want to see more improvements in his back, plus they want to see that next level of conditioning on Samson. So, in respect to his back, will 10 weeks be enough time for Samson Dauda to make those improvements? Now for normal people, it certainly is a very short window. But Samson has been making improvements from one show to the next since 2021. So I expect to see him at 330 pounds in the off-season in no time.
That point now where it's like, okay, now time to make progress. So the sessions are going to be brutal. We're going to be pushing to make improvements. Yes, we're going to get bigger, which is one thing that is crazy because I knew how big I was last year in the off-season. And then I didn't have as much time as this. And, 330 pounds easily. He's going to hit 330 pounds. I've been there for the last 2 off seasons, so this ain't going to be no surprise this time when I get to that because it looks like I was climbing anyway before we started.
Now his conditioning also went up a notch from Ohio to UK. And I think this is going to be the look that they're going to be aiming for this year's Mr. Olympia. So Samson is starting a brand new chapter of his pro career, where he's going to travel to Kuwait at the O2 gyms and let those guys train him. Now, I do not exactly know why guys at the Oxygen gym, especially the crew there, they get so much criticism. I mean, those guys have done a great job, and the stats speak for themselves. Brandon Curry went from last place in 2016 to winning the Olympia in 2019, and that is the greatest success story that came out of Oxygen gym. Now, the chances of Brandon Curry winning back the Olympia title, they are very slim. But now they have got the next big thing. And whether you like Samson or not, everyone admits that if he puts it all together, he is gonna beat everyone. Lastly, we have an update of Martin-Fitzwater, as he poses in the famous Babs gym. So him guest posing at the Pittsburgh Pro, that was a complete game changer for him, especially the way people start to compare him with Nick Walker. Now I have to admit, Martin certainly showcased superior shape and aesthetics, and there should not be any doubt that Nick Walker is gonna get beaten in shape and the aesthetics department by all of these other top guys, namely Quinton Beastwood, Tony Button, and Martin. Now Martin is really confident that the package that he is going to be bringing to the stage that will allow him to fight for the top spot, potentially top 2. So can Martin be better than Detroit Pro? 100% he can. He was improved a lot from the prejudging to the finals at Detroit Pro about 4 weeks back. I mean, so many people had good veto winning after the prejudging, but that look that Martin brought to the stage at the finals, that was more than enough to seal the deal for him. And we have to keep in mind, that was Martin's first show with Stefan, and the more he learns about his body, the better he will be able to peak him. Again, I'm gonna say I have Nick Walker winning this show, but that second place, that is very hard to predict at this point. And that is actually a good thing. We are gonna get to see a fierce competition here. So the good thing for Martin is that he is already qualified for the Olympia, and he is obviously gonna shut down the season afterwards. So unlike all these other guys, he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him. So 5.5 months after this show, that is plenty of time to get your health markers back in check, and then have a decent off-season before officially starting the prep for the Olympia. So where do you guys see Martin placing at the New Pro? Do let me know in the comments below. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.